Why don't you give me a sign? Like the sea that leaves a trail along that shore. It's not your problem, it's mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe, a London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me or swear at me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded, because we didn't notice at all.
Your waking world is shaped by dreams.
Hello, I'm Sophia Jessica, and welcome to the Fan Carpet.
So it's I'm stealing someone's words here, I think it's Tom's, but it's a story of stories, you know. It delves into so many things, so many themes in humanity and the universe and mythology. And I think that's, you know, something really unique. I love how it, you know, weaves fiction and kind of like takes a different spin on how things would have happened. I think it's also, you know, it's about humanity, and there's so many people, so many protagonists that move the story along, and I think it reflects real life, because in real life there isn't one main character who matters, and in a lot of movies or books or shows they kind of minimize everyone else because they want to highlight this person, but I think this show shows that you can highlight a specific person whilst still kind of not forgetting the significance of everyone else.
What was your most memorable moment of filming?
So we did some really cool scenes in a diner where things get pretty dark and twisted pretty quickly as we're preparing for an upcoming convention. And there was a bit of like basically a murder that happens, and the way that happens was, well, I'll wait for you to see it, but very visceral, very fun as an actor.
Oh God, that's a good question. I mean, there were lots of memorable parts. The first day that I filmed with Tom, that was pretty epic. We're on the bridge, and that was pretty surreal. Another great day was I had scenes with the Raven, Real Raven, and Merv Pumpkinhead, and that was so much fun, and I loved it. I mean, but working on this was incredible. Every day was like, am I really here? Is this my life? So yeah, it's great. Yeah.
To be honest, probably the moment I stepped on set for the first time, because I mean, you probably have that answer from everyone, but it really was. I play someone who exists over hundreds of years. So when I first walked into the first of our sets, that was a pub in 1389. It looked, felt, smelled real, and I saw Tom and Kirby in costume for the first time, and myself in costume for the first time, and I thought, I think we're doing it. I think we're doing Sandman. Although they'd been filming for months and months and months, so I was quite a latecomer. But for me, I sort of in that moment when, this is happening. This is real.
Oh, that's lovely. Everything. I was like just having contact with the human with the human beings while we were filming, because it was during COVID and you didn't get to see anyone, so every day was a holiday when you get to talk to people. So I guess I was very happy to be filming, and every moment was so special, and working with Allan as well was super nice, and I treasure every second that I did with him.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Well, Neil has done all the heavy lifting by creating this incredible, first of all, imagining it, and then creating all of these incredible characters in this incredible universe, and full of universes. It just goes on and on. It's a story that's about stories. And so it's been incredibly intimidating to work with one of my all-time favorite writers, and one of the best living writers, one of the best writers living or dead, and certainly the most brilliant. And a real pleasure, because I had no idea as a fan that he was such a collaborator and so generous with his collaborations. So he's really been there for every second of it, for every frame of it. We've tried to adapt it as faithfully as possible, and in those cases where that wasn't possible, he let us imagine it in ways that I hope will surprise viewers, and were completely authorized and advocated for by him. So it was a dream come true.
Neil sees the world like no one else I've ever read or ever met. He is a true sort of talent of these times, and completely no one can imitate him. So I think when he decided to make TV, once again, that brings something so fresh to the small screen, and I'm just excited for everyone to come on the journey with us.
How much time have you got? Neil has got an incredible mind. I mean, the stories that he creates, these rich characters that on the surface might seem like they're fantasy, but they're so much more than that, because they're about the human condition, who we are as people, our fears, our fantasies, loss, love, family, life. He's just an absolute genius.
I think Neil's writing is completely fearless, and it's unashamed, and it's not scared to, well, I'm using synonyms basically, but he's not afraid to take the biggest concepts in all his writing and throw them into completely potentially domestic circumstances, and see what comes out. And I think that's what makes him completely special, is that there's no attempt by him to dumb anything down. There's no attempt to take the sort of, as you say, the high philosophy out of stuff. But I think he's the master of the what if. He's the master of taking something huge and saying, what if it was happening in front of you? What would you do?
He talks about themes that are universal. I mean, at the end of the day, the endless are like put the fun in dysfunctional, which is a little bit like my family. So it's like universal themes and things that we can all relate to. And my character in particular, Lyda Hall and Rose, Vanesu's over there, we focus on the more human aspect and grief that everybody has felt. So in the middle of this fantastical world, we bring the human element, and it's nice to have contributed that way to that show.
Yes, I mean, we were all very nervous that we wouldn't be able to find a dream, because it's, he's a very difficult character to know, even on the page. He's mysterious and elusive and emotionally withdrawn, and it was so important to us that our audience fall in love with him right away, because we then lose him to a glass cage for the entire first episode. And Tom was one of the first people we saw, probably the third person we saw, and we were all astonished that we all knew it was him immediately. He was able to give us everything that the comic did, but he was also so alive emotionally. We all connected with him and were rooting for him from the first second that we knew we were home free.
When he walked into the hotel the first time and I saw him, I was like, what? It's like the comic had come to life. And he's such a fan and so deeply versed in the source material as well, that he was just kind of exuding it. And he very much kept that energy, which helped all of us respond to him in that way also. So yeah, he's incredible.
Oh God, I mean, Tom is just incredible, and as an actor, an absolute dream to work with. And I think people are going to be blown, well, I don't think, I know, because the detail and depth that he has given Morpheus is absolutely astonishing and stunning, and he's incredible. And everything he does is so precise, so detailed. He's blown my mind in what he's done with his character, and I can't imagine anyone else doing it. He's the perfect Morpheus as far as I'm concerned.
Tom is what I would want to be if I were ever given the responsibility or the chance to be a number one on a show. He's completely devoted to. Is he just there? He's completely devoted to it. He takes it seriously, but not himself. He, he's the person that when we were rehearsing said, if we have to get up at 4 a.m. and come in to rehearse something, then I'll do that. And also because our dynamic on the show is basically two people gradually getting to know each other, it kind of felt like that. When we weren't shooting, we were sitting where we were when we were shooting, sitting on the same seats, working out how to be pals with each other. I think he's absolutely ace. I think he is basically all you could dream of to play Dream, and it was if you're going to have a part where you basically interact with one person, he's a good one to interact with.
I love this performance. He's my favorite character. He was so focused as well on set, and he really, I feel, did justice to the role. So he's special because you hate him, but you love him at the same time, and that's a very thin line to walk on, and that's when you did a good job.
Well, when you have Gwendolyn Christie and Tom Sturridge, the thing that I'm the most looking forward to is the rematch between Morpheus and Lucifer in Hell at the very beginning of season 2. I think if we're lucky enough to make it, it's going to be extraordinary.
It was my favorite role I've ever done on screen. I felt such freedom and such trust from Allan and Neil with this character and the way they imagined it as an extension of the comics, but in a new way. And yeah, I hope she comes back. I don't think she will, but I hope she comes back.
All of it. All of it. If it happens, all of it. I'm up for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, and if I have the privilege to stick around, and we have the privilege to stick around, if I get to do Hobbs Leviathan, I'll be a happy man. Yeah, when Hobbs at sea for a whole issue, I think it's just a wonderful, beautiful episode in itself anyway, but also I'd like to be on a boat.
So Lucienne is head librarian of the Dreaming, and when Morpheus is captured, she presides over the Dreaming, looks after it, takes care of it. She's essentially like his right hand. There's a deep bond there, a deep care. She loves him. She knows that he has this really difficult job. You know, he is the curator and the being that creates our dreams and nightmares, and it's such an important role, and she understands that, and she's his support, really.
Yeah, it did, because playing someone like the Good Doctor, you have to look for the why, and you have to understand that for her, she's actually doing her best, and she's doing what she thinks is the right thing to do, and trying to excel at that. So there's no sense of good or evil with her. It's just it's her calling. Yeah, I think the Good Doctor really fancied the Corinthian. So I think that was definitely a fun thing to play with. And Boyd raised my game. He's amazing. He's such an actor's actor, and everything from running lines together in the green room to then actually being on set sparring together. Take me back.
Not fully. I share his enthusiasm for going at life full throttle. I hope so. In theory, I do anyway. Probably in life, I go in about second gear. But I think probably after a couple of 100 years, I'd probably want to exercise my release clause.
I mean, it sounds really corny, but I'm proud of all of it. But I really, really loved episode 6 with Death and Morpheus. That's such a beautiful episode. The diner episode is dark, but I just think all of it is so magical. No one episode is the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that even as a reader of the comic, I just went with it, and I think if you release into it and realize you have not seen something like this, you will not see something like this, come with us on the adventure, and you're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna gasp, all the things that, in all honesty, I want out of an entertainment experience.
Yeah, do you know something? In this, there's something for everyone. You're absolutely right. 1 minute, you're absolutely probably freaked out, scared, you're like, what is going on? And then the next minute, you have a beautiful scene or episode that just gives you such joy. So I couldn't put it in a box, really. It's amazing.
Hugely so. Even, some of the writers who came over from LA, Jim Campolongo, Allan, they were all right there, supporting us. Any questions we had, making sure everything, ticked along despite COVID. So yeah, they're the true masterminds.
It literally spans 700 years of human history and lots of different cultures. And so I'm hoping that, what is universally human, that we all have in common around the world, that will speak to people, and I hope bring them to the show and keep them.
Because it has such unique imagery and such unique story beats that are unlike anything you've ever seen, that this is gonna make, like, you know, when you look at the sun for a long time and it makes an impression on your eyes, this series is like that.
Because I really believe that there's no other collection of 10 hours of, more or less, of television that is as broad and wild and mad and huge and tiny as the Sandman.
Hopefully, because we did a good job. And the series in itself is like so good, and obviously the world of Neil Gaiman. So I feel like people are going to get to forget a little bit their lives.
No, thank you for your amazing questions. Like, yeah, brilliant questions. Thank you.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for more content next time.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
I'm here on the largest of the Balearic Islands, Mallorca, with the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean Sea, beautiful mountainous landscape, the thriving city of Palma, quaint little market towns, a growing number of luxury hotels. It's no surprise that the likes of Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor like to holiday here. So come and join me as I take you round Mallorca.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.
Things have changed.
Your eyes will tell me everything. Every thought, every feeling.
My creations do not walk amongst the living, killing mortals for pleasure.
Oh, you don't think dreams can die? Let's find out.
Nightmares do not belong in the waking world.
Oh, it turns out I fit right in.
Dreams don't die.